Hello YouTube, Flowcat here. And yes, I shaved my beard off. My eczema has been flaring up because I don't go outside enough, and my skin is suffering because of it. Anyway, that's besides the point. Today, I want to talk about a specific unit and a specific weapon that is really interesting to me right now, considering the new Dendro Electro reaction. The unit we're going to talk about today is Yae Miko, and I don't want to really spoil the whole thing, so let's talk about it first. We are all aware that some new reactions came out alongside Dendro, and Electro received a nice buff because of it, which is really great. It's cool to see that Electro and Dendro pair well together. You can put them together in a team with other units. You can do dual Electro, dual Dendro. You can do lots of cool pairings with these units, and the reactions that comes out of it are pretty great. Not gonna lie. I think that obviously we are all most excited by the quicken reaction with the sub reactions of aggravate and spread. And aggravate is the one that Electro uses for when it boosts the damage, you know, when you hit the enemy and it goes aggravate and it does more damage. So it's great. I like it a lot. I have been very much enjoying seeing my Electro units hit big, old, chunky numbers, right? Everyone loves that. Great to see, great to see. There's a specific Electro unit that I think everyone kind of understands has a lot of potential right now, but I don't know if they understand exactly how much potential this particular unit has. And that unit is Yae Miko. I think everyone is sleeping on her a little bit too much. Not for just the stereotypical reasons that everyone is talking about, but for another reason. And let me explain. Yes, she's a fantastic Electro enabler. Everyone's been discussing Yae Miko, Fischl, Kuki. You know, they are all great Electro enablers for Dendro, and we're very excited to have them. Particularly, I've really enjoyed using Kuki and Yae Miko on a team with Thignari, and I have been using Amber as well because of Elegy and her relevant buffs that can buff, you know, the team. And also it's fun if you dual burst. This is kind of off topic, I know, but if you dual burst with Kuki and Amber, like do Kuki's burst first. If she's under 50% HP, the extra duration makes it last long enough that you have time to swap to Amber and then burst. You know, you can do a number of combinations here, but point is, dual bursting with these two units, very fun. So many overloads. Now, Yae Miko, she applies a lot of Electro. Her random targeting allows it to spread very quickly to all the different enemies. And this is very useful for a unit like Thignari because he is basically playing like quick swap burst DPS style, right? And having that Electro on those enemies when he pops on field and having that quicken reaction with the spread is really great for him. This is the thing that I think everyone is not thinking about. Hakushin Ring. Hakushin Ring, when you do the Dendro Electro reaction, the quicken reaction, you gain your Electro damage bonus. You also gain a Dendro damage bonus. So if you really like Thignari, or you think that there are future Dendro units that you are going to absolutely want, it very much seems like we were correct that Dendro will have elemental mastery aspects and all that great stuff to the kit. But more than that, we're looking for other ways to boost Dendro damage because you can't swirl it, right? You can use Zhongli's shield, like resistance shred. From that, you can use the Deepwood memory set to shred resistance. You can use, in Thignari's case, you can use, like, he has EM built scaling into his kit, and I think that that will be rather common for Dendro units. I think a lot of them will have some sort of damage scaling with EM, whether it's for the reactions or their actual damage itself. But yeah, there are limited ways to buff Dendro damage, kind of similar to like the issue that Geo has, right? But here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker. You've got a really great way to buff the damage right here. Hakushin Ring. Now, people may say that, like, this is really annoying to use and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, it's not perfect. I understand. Now, just to clarify for people who do not understand how this weapon works, after the character equipped with this reaction triggers an electro elemental reaction, so any reaction that is with the electro element, nearby party members of an elemental type involved in the elemental reaction, so any party member that has the same type as the elements involved in the reaction, will gain a 15% elemental damage bonus for their element lasting 6 seconds. It's basically just a lot of words. But what all those words are saying, when Yae Miko comes on field, because she's constantly doing damage, pretty much the second that she comes on field, one of her turrets is going to hit someone. And if you have a strong elemental team, like let's say you have just used Thignari's skill, which is like what I like to do, is I like to toss out his skill and then I swap over to Yae Miko and I place down her turrets. Now I could place down all 3, or maybe I could just place down 1 and come back to her later. That's honestly a technique that I don't see people utilizing often enough with Yae Miko, and I'm guilty of this as well. You don't have to put all 3 turrets down at the same time. You just don't have to. Tangent aside, you throw out Thignari's skill, and then you swap over to Yae Miko, and you can even just auto attack really quick if you want to. You don't have to use her turret. Like you can just, she's great for this weapon because all of her attacks are electro. So yeah, and as long as she's on field, it's going to keep refreshing this buff. So it can't be stacked. It'll literally just refresh the buff. So this means that you have a consistent damage buff for 6 seconds after swapping off of Yae Miko. This will be very useful for all sorts of Dendro units because Yae Miko is a great enabler for Electro, as mentioned, for the quicken reaction, but also because of her ability to buff Dendro and Electro damage as well. Now, if there are off-field Dendro damage dealers, then they can receive this buff from off-field, potentially, you know, depending on whether they snapshot or not. We have to look into that kind of stuff. There's all sorts of possibilities. The point is that this weapon, I think at this point, is worth our refinement 5. I have seen a lot of, for me personally, I really enjoy using Hakushin Ring on my Yae Miko, not just for these new Dendro teams, which I'm super enjoying, but also just in normal reaction teams, like in Taser teams especially, because there's so many reactions going around. Every time she takes the field, damage just gets boosted. It's nice. I really enjoy it, as well as having the energy recharge substat. Obviously that's a great thing as well. Helps keep her burst up, which is fantastic. I pretty much just wanted to discuss that if you have a Yae Miko and you're enjoying her with or without Dendro, you may want to consider, I know we don't have that many Dendro units right now. This is only R3 right now. I get free elemental damage bonus, so it goes up to 20%. And that's 20% Electro and 20% Dendro, or whatever else other element is involved with the reaction. And I just tested it right now because I wanted to make absolute sure. So what I did was I tossed out a Baron Bunny. I tossed out Thignari's skill. I waited for a few seconds, and then I put down 1 turret. And I hit an enemy. So I triggered Quicken, and then I triggered Overload. And I double checked to make sure you can have multiple elemental buffs at the same time. So if you do 2 separate reactions, I still have my Dendro buff right here, as well as my Electro buff and my Pyro buff. So I explained that really terribly, but I'm sure Momo will fix it. And yeah, that's basically it. Great artifact. Wow. Big wow. And also one other thing that I wanted to mention, I'm sure other people were talking about this as well, and I haven't even gotten around to farming the set yet. If you're using or planning to use Dendro teams, I think Yae Miko and Kuki are going to be the ideal pairing if you want to do double Electro, double Dendro, because Kuki can use the Deepwood Memory set, and it really just it's not going to affect her damage bunch, you know what I mean? And losing out on this buff to gain Dendro damage in certain teams is going to be substantially worth it. That with the Hakushin Ring right here with Yae Miko, you can see where I'm going with this. it should allow for really strong burst potential with characters like Tingari, using the quicken reaction, as well as Deepwood Memories, as well as Hakushin Ring. You get what I'm saying. And also, I'm also stacking Elegy in this team as well for the Elemental Mastery boost from that. So synergies are everywhere, okay? And it's great. It's lovely. We love to see it. It's just a great time. I rambled, I talked, I told you what I was thinking. And if it's helpful, great. Consider hitting that subscribe button. That would be super helpful to me. Also, maybe drop a like on the video, drop a comment that helps me out in the algorithm, which is full of logs named Al, and they would like you to rhythmically press the button. That barely made sense. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Also, we have a Discord if you'd like to join that. Link will be in a pinned comment with the Patreon shout out. Also in the description of like every video and stream. Also, I stream on YouTube like every day or every other day. I've been streaming a lot because of Sumeru. You can come hang out. Make some friends. I would love to see you there. And as always, stay healthy. Stay hydrated. Peace.